And welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Career Mode. Now, in this episode, we've just come off the success of the Lime Rover 1. So I'm going to load that sucker up. We're going to make some changes, taking advantage of the science we gained on the last mission. And then we're going to send a new mission out to Minmus with Lime Rover 2. So, here's our rover as we sent it the last time. It's got 4 of these engines on here for landing purposes and such like and whatnot. And things didn't quite fly very well. So what I'm going to do, getting close here, I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to set it over there, and I'm going to delete the rest of them. And we're going to try something a little different. Let's get our, wait a minute, let's see. Disconnect that, move it down there, and then turn on center of mass display. There's the center of mass of the rover. And so instead of having 4 of these, I'm just going to put 2 on here. And I'm going to put it right on the center of mass. Right dead on the center of mass. Flipping it around so that it faces the right way. Alright. Now let's see center of thrust. Now you notice it's pointing kind of at an angle here, but it's taking into account this engine. If I take that off, it goes straight. And that's fine, because when these are running, this will be disabled. So that won't be a problem at all. The other thing we need to do here is to address the wheels. These aircraft landing gear just don't cut it. I mean, they're fine for aircraft, but this is not an aircraft. We'll go with these guys. I'm going to try and put them on the end of these things. Like so. Can we do symmetry and get away with it? No, we can't. Alright, that's fine. This, go down here and do the same thing. And copy that one, and we'll head over here and do the same thing on this side. Yeah, I think those are right. Alright, that's good. So we're doing good there. We've got better wheels now. We've got a better engine situation for our vertical landing on Minmus. And remember, Minmus is a test flight for these things. Once the design is prime and really working good. We're going to send this thing to the moon. Alright, now down here, over here in aerodynamic, 1.25 meter fairing base, the procedural fairings. We'll put that there. And then I'm going to connect this up to it. And now we'll take the conic side fairing, hook it up like so, and now zoom out, and we have, well, not enough fairing. Two X symmetry. And we have craziest looking fairing thing I think I've ever seen. This is without a doubt the largest fairing that I've ever seen or heard of in a Kerbal Space Program anything. And so, there you go. Let's see who's going to go on this trip. Jebediah is not going. Let's send Patney Kerman. No stupidity. I like him. Alright, and now we adjourn to the launch pad and see if this behemoth can get off the ground. Alright, here we are on the launch pad. Zoom back a little bit, and we have got the craziest looking launch vehicle I've ever seen. I mean, it was crazy looking with the rover by itself, and now with a fairing around that rover, that's like, wow, amazingly crazy. So, let's get some flight stats and a smart ASS. Alright. One last look at everything. It looks like we're good to go. So we're just going to throttle this up and see if... Oh crap, we got Jebediah on board. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to deal with it, because I'm not going back to the vehicle assembly building to get Patney back out. We'll just have to hope that Jebediah doesn't really screw it up. And yeah, he does that sometimes. Anyway, let's rock. Why did those Separatrons fire at this point? Okay, that's a problem. So those are part of the separation. Okay, staging got messed up when I edited the thing. We're going back to the vehicle assembly building to fix that, or rather I am. I'll meet you back at the launch pad. Alright, here we are. We've got our correct pilot back, and I figured out what was wrong. You see, these SRB nose cones count as Separatron rockets. And so I had to move them from down here in the bottom stage to up here in the stage where they get separated. So that should fix that. And now once again we set up. We hold our 90 degrees, throttle it up, and click outside of that thing to make the cursor not do what it just did. Okay, throttle it up, and let's get this thing on the road to Minmus. This crazy fairing thing, it's bigger than most of the launch vehicle. But it seems to be working. don't have our SRBs SRBing away until it's time to separate them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and get this thing into Kerbal orbit, and then I will take the steps needed to get us on course for Minmus. Then I'm going to cut all the way to Minmus, because the journey between Kerbal and Minmus is actually a minor detail thing. It's really no big deal, and you've seen it 1,000 times already anyhow, so we'll just cut that part out. Climbing very nicely. Our gigantic Globe SRBs, Globe X SRBs, doing their job getting this thing off the ground up to where it can continue onward. Looks like we're going to get at least 2, maybe 2.5 or 3 kilometers on these guys before they separate. .462 parts. Vessel mass upwards of 360 tons or so at the top. I didn't look, so. This thing looks totally crazy. I gotta tell you, really crazy. Okay, 2 kilometers. 2.2. Okay, we might get 3 kilometers out of these guys. Good. Back off the liquid fuel engines. Make sure the solids separate first. There's how much solid is left, and there's the liquid fuel in those tanks. We don't want the liquids separating before the solids do. So we'll throttle that down, and we'll deal with the deceleration. So we can make up for it quickly. SRBs away, liquid fuel to full throttle. Clean separation, and we'll be losing the first asparagus stage momentarily. There they go. Four kilometers. Lost a bunch of velocity because I shouldn't have had it at full throttle from the beginning. I should have throttled to like 70% for liftoff, but I forgot to do that. Okay, from here, it should be a relatively simple ride to orbit. I'll start my pitch at about 8 to 10 kilometers or so. Right after the second set of liquid boosters goes away. What's going to be impressive is when we separate this, the fairing goes. Of course, I can jettison those separately, and I may actually want to. Accelerating nicely, climbing good. We're only 9.5 seconds away from apoapsis, but that will increase as we go. That thing is crazy. That is totally crazy. procedural fairings. I don't think any other fairing setup could have done it. Got a good thrust to weight ratio, so we're accelerated nicely. And let's go ahead and pitch over to 85 degrees and start our gravity turn. Down to 245 tons, or 230 tons, excuse me. We're looking at the wrong number. Good. About to lose one set of boosters. After which we can pitch to 80 degrees. Pitching to 80 degrees. Time to apoapsis is climbing. We want that. This totally unbelievable looking thing is actually seeming to work pretty good. I don't know if it would work at all with FAR installed, but I don't particularly care to find out right now. Going to 75 degrees. Big adventure with this thing is getting this monstrosity into orbit with this gigantic fairing on it. I've never used fairings before, I don't believe. This has proven to be interesting. Pitching back to 70 degrees. I should have set up an action group for separating these fairing halves. Next time I'll have to make sure to do that. Pitch now to 65 degrees. This would have looked better in a daylight launch, I realize, but we need to get this thing on the road. Time to apoapsis continues to climb. Vessel mass down to 154 tons, 358 meters per second and accelerating. Go down to 60 degrees. Looks like we shouldn't have any problem getting to orbit. Pitching to 55 degrees now. Getting ready to lose the last boosters. Down to 105 tons. 20 of it is up here. If I recall correctly, that rover masses in at about 20 tons. Maybe a little bit less with only 2 engines instead of 4. Apoapsis is reaching 69, so we'll go ahead and set our pitch to 45. As a matter of fact, we'll go down to 35 because we've got to concentrate on getting horizontal velocity. Down to 25 degrees now. Start stretching this arc out. Five minutes into the flight, mission elapsed time, and we're doing good. altitude 75 kilometers. Make sure to set free camera mode. Pitch down to 15 degrees. At this point, I think we can get rid of our fairing. And away it goes. And the crazy rover is on board. And of course the only lights it has are the ones facing forward. I maybe need to fix that sometime and put some white lights on the next one. Pitch down to 5 degrees. Put almost all of it into horizontal velocity now. Zero and stay right on the horizon. Okay. At this point, it should be a simple matter of just ride this thing into orbit. This stage up here should be for finalizing the orbit and injecting to Minmus. Seconds to apoapsis. But it's up at a good 91.7, so we should have plenty of time to accelerate into orbit. This lower stage being jettisoned just before we get there, I think. Yeah. Periapsis coming close to zero. We will definitely make orbit. Okay, good. Looking very good. Couldn't have planned this one better, I think. We are descending now, but we'll get up to a decent altitude long before we get to the danger of re-entry. As that engine's got 200 kilonewtons of thrust, and it seems to be doing quite well. Okay. Deploy solar panels, no. Oh, that's right, I'm using static panels on this one. Alright. Baryapsis coming up. 65. Alright, we'll cut it here, coast up to apoapsis, circularize, and see about getting ourselves on course for Minmus. 82 by 104. In fact, let's go ahead and close that. Minmus is target. Had a maneuver at apoapsis. We'll handle that first. Okay, 103 by 104. That works for me. Let's set an alarm for that. Actually, let's edit that alarm. Alright, go ahead and get into position for the burn and then time warp to it. Get this thing circularized and then get the plane change taken care of and headed out to Minmus. And with the powered wheels on this thing, instead of those small gear bays for aircraft that are not powered, we should be able to navigate over a significant chunk of Minmus with a little bit of rocket engine power for hops, for hopping from one spot to another if we need to. I don't know what's causing the thing to do this stuttering and stopping thing. I don't know if you're seeing that, but I sure am. Cut out the time warp and let this thing get lined back up again. Too bad we're not going to the moon, because that would be a good time to launch for it right there. In the way we used to do it before maneuver nodes. See the moon rise and burn for it. A little bit more time warp. Okay. Turn that off. SAS on. Okay. And we can get rid of this maneuver node. And we'll put in a plane change here. Let's see, that's 5.9, so we need to go negative. Getting close. Oh, 0.1, that's good. All right. 1 minute, 3 second burn. Line up for that and then warp to it and burn it. Oh, that's right. You got to burn it half of the time, so another 30 seconds of time warp. A little bit slower of a burn, but not a problem. Okay, from here, I'm just going to go ahead and set up the transfer to Minmus, execute that, and we'll see you again in Minmus orbit.